And we're here. Okay, awesome. We are here with the VG challenge over at Balance Patch. This is top four right now. We got one more after this. Stay tuned for that. But I'm joined here with my homie, Lindsay, and
Oh,
we're going to bring this show to you right now. Let's go.
yeah. I'm so excited. We have another barn burner here in top four of
Yes.
the Balance Patch Cup. I'm hoping we get team sheets here soon, Naeem, so
I,
that we
I
can
need
take a
them.
little
I
bit
need them.
closer look. But it is going to be Chase Matteo and Dakota Kelly. So it's two players that we've seen on stream already today. Chase, we know the team. It's another Rain team. It's another, Pelipper, Archaladon, Basque Legion.
Good team, good team.
But Dakota's team is the one that I'm really excited to talk about.
Yes, it's very
Dakota is
special.
going to be using this Garganackle and the Solo Dondozo Terra Bug with Soak.
Now, Solo Dondozo is not something I've seen quite often, actually. I know it's just very bulky.
Yeah.
You can do really annoying things like yawn. And, of course, there's... what else does it do, dude?
Well, on this team, it's going to be really. It is just a coaching partner. It is. It is to sit next to the Sneasler Dondozo because it's unaware. You can boost it up a ton. It doesn't care about any boost from the opponents, so they can't boost up alongside you.
Yes. Okay.
The Archaladon on the other side. All the Electroshock boost don't matter.
Don't matter.
So you get a lot of really good momentum there with the Dondozo. A lot of times they'll be running Fissure, which is a good move to hit other Dondozos.
That's right.
That's kind
It
of your,
is
your matchup
Fissure.
there.
Yeah.
But Dakota's foregoing that, running Soak in the last slot, which has a lot of cool utility on this team. The Soak allows you to have your Garganackle do 25% damage residual each turn with
Each
Salt
turn.
Cure. It also
that's
lets your
gross.
Alolan Ninetales with Freeze Dry hit things super effectively.
Oh.
Your Rotom Wash, which is Terra Electric already, because that's a good defensive Terra type for Rotom, hits them with Terra Electric Volt Switches a lot harder. And something that might come up in this match is not only using Soak on your opponents, but using Soak on
yourself?
yourself. Because this is going up into the Rain matchup for Dakota. Yes, you really want to bring Garganackle because there are a lot of water and steel types on the other side. It's two water types and two steel types on Chase's side
Yes.
that you really want to be Salt Curing with Garganackle, but you really don't want to be a Rock type in front
No,
of any
you
of those
don't.
Pokemon. So if you can Side Soak, turn yourself into a Water type, now all of a sudden they're not doing that much damage to you. You can kind of just sit in front of that Basque Legion pretty easily, as we are going to see now the open team sheet for Dakota.
I love this right now. Waving around the Marsh Top. I don't think we didn't get that one on stream. Oh, it's over.
No, but Chase Matteo, main Marsh Stomp himself. This is, of course, the open team sheet for Shane Vogel from last round, but close enough
Yeah,
for
whatever.
Chase. It's honestly, it's 5 out of the same 6 Pokemon. And we are going to see the Pelipper and Basque Legion for Chase right on lead against the Sneasler and the Garganackle right on cue for Dakota.
I gotta say, I really like the strategy with Soak here because it's basically a second terrestrialization for you.
Exactly.
But it does cost you a button press. It takes you a turn to set that up. But once you do, hey man, I
Yeah.
got 2 of them things. Oh,
If
come on.
Dakota can get coaching boosts into this Garganackle and then find the way to weave in that Soak, I think it could be very exciting. He is going to just immediately swap out the Sneasler into Ninetales, though, turning off that Rain. Very important for Dakota's strategy here to not let Chase get too much momentum, as it looks like Chase will be Terastallizing immediately.
Okay,
Oh, no, sorry,
and
that's
Gargano.
Dakota's character.
Okay.
That's the Garganackle going Terra Ghost immediately. Not too many things on Chase's side that can hit the Terra Ghost Garganackle super effectively. It's really just the Incineroar with knockoff. As the Wave Crash comes out into that slot,
Oh, that's
and
big
still
damage.
does a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that fish is pretty angry. It's going to do a lot of big things all the time, But it is smart to turn off that extra speed it has from, of course, the Rain here. Oh, Salt Cure, here it is, into that Pelipper slot. Now that's going to be, oh my goodness, that damage. And, of course, the Salt Cure is going to be doing even more. That's 50%. That's basically a Super Fang.
Yeah, no, it is a little bit tricky position here for Dakota, though. You had to give up a lot in order to make this kind of
Yes.
progress in the game. Yes, you got some damage on Basque Legion with the Wave Crash Residual, and you were able to Salt Cure the Pelipper, but Pelipper wants to switch out this turn anyway.
Yes.
The great news for Dakota, though, is that now that Ninetales is on the field, at the same time as Pelipper, Chase can't reset the weather right now. Your Ninetales is the fastest thing on the field and threatens with a Freeze Dry into this Basque Legion because it's Terra Grass. It can't get away from that weakness. I was going to say for Dakota, it's pretty free for you to just freeze dry into the Basket Legion and Salt Cure the Pelipper slot on the pretty telegraph switch in. Dakota does go out into the Rotom and clicks Aurora Veil.
Okay, not bad. That's going to make this Rotom extra juicy. It's going to be pretty thick defensively. Now, it's going to eat up this Wave Crash from the enemy side here. Got a nice resistance on there as well. It's such a good strategy here, but, not taking huge advantage on that free switch, not as necessary. We're still playing the grind game, just easing our way in, and that's why we got this Rotom in play right now.
Yeah, Dakota choosing to slow things down a little bit on that turn, and I can understand it, setting up for the long game. You want, because Garganacl took so much damage on turn 1, it is really nice to have your Rotom as that defensive centerpiece now. Now really nothing hits this Rotom super hard, especially with that Citrus Berry. So setting up the Aurora Veil, very nice. You still have that same threat into the Basket Legion this turn with the Freeze Dry, although Chase can counter that with something like the Pelipper switching in, but it's going to be the Basket Legion that switches out here.
This is an interesting play here, too, because now you're switching this Pelipper back in. You will get the rain, but it's the same slot as this Basket Legion, so the Freeze Dry going into that slot could still get a knockout.
Instead, it's just the Blizzard right away, and good news for Dakota, he hit both of them.
Yeah, hey, that's rare.
It's less than a 50% chance to do that, as Golden Go will get up a nasty plot pretty freely here on Chase's side.
Volt Switch coming in, not Terra, so not going to do a significant amount of damage, but that's still pretty good for Chip, and going to switch back in as well. Probably coming in is going to be that Sneasler? No, it's Garganacl once again. Pretty low on HP, but this thing is so strong.
Yeah, and now Chase does have a decision to make. Which Pokemon do you bring in here? You're really going to only have probably 1, maybe 2 turns of rain realistically left in this game. You would imagine that Dakota will be switching Ninetales out on this next turn just to bring it right back in to turn the rain off. Because Ninetales outside of rain is extremely powerful for Dakota in this matchup. The real trick here is how does Dakota deal with this Golden Go?
Well, that's the thing. I believe, if I remember correctly, now that the weather's changed, Aurora Veil goes away with it, right?
No, Aurora Veil's still active on Dakota's side.
Oh, so it stays. That's really good. Okay, there goes the Ninetales. Out it goes. And I imagine a Make It Rain and a second attack into this slot should be enough to deal with the Sneasler. There goes the Wave Crash. Should be going right into Sneasler. Yep, and there comes the Make It Rain. That should finish off this Sneasler quite easily and will bring back in the Ninetales to change the weather one more time.
Yeah, the good news here for Dakota is actually this positioning works out fairly well. You get Ninetales on the field and you get Rotom in pretty safely. You now have this Ninetales that still threatens the knockout on the Basket Legion on Chase's side. The real question here is, can Rotom deal with Golden Go before you can deal with whatever this last Pokemon is for Chase? Of course, we've already seen it on our side. It is the Archaludon. And I just don't know if there's enough to deal with the Archaludon at this point now for Dakota.
Nah, but you're hoping for maybe a 2v1 scenario because these both Pokemon are on their last legs, less than 50% on each. If you get a Blizzard in for some significant damage, that can do it. But it's also, I don't know, the speed tiers is not looking too good for a Rotom. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get both of those in before losing a Rotom or even losing Ninetales more specifically. So we're going to have to see. Beckley's okay, switching out, instead bringing in Archaludon.
Yeah, it's very tricky for both players here. I don't know if I agree with the Archaludon switch-in since, yes, the Ninetales is likely to protect on this turn, but on the off chance that it doesn't, you just give yourself one more opportunity to be frozen. This play, though, from Chase does force Dakota to at least hit a Hydro Pump into this Golden Go.
Oh, Rotom not taking damage at all from that.
No, not with the fail. That's how you know Aurora Veil's still active.
That's true. That was nothing. But Hydro Pump, this is pretty huge. There
Hydro
goes Goldango.
Okay, so it is now a 2v2. There is weather control on Dakota's side. And this Basket Legion, yes, it can reset now and click an Aqua Jet here to get one attack off, but Ninetales still faster, still threatening the KO on that slot pretty definitively. It's just a matter of, how does Dakota really deal with the Archaludon?
Yeah, you really have to figure out in terms of damage, maybe hope for a couple crits. A freeze would really be good right now from a Blizzard if you can be so fortunate to get that 10%. But you got to play towards your outs, and I'm not sure this Arcaladon's really scared of anything.
Oh, and the
that's
critical
huge
hit's
damage.
unfortunate.
Oh my goodness, freeze dry, there goes the knockout in Basque Legion, and now let's see what this Arcaladon will do.
Yeah, we saw Chase lock in that flash cannon into the Ninetales. Without the critical hit, I think it might have been close, because the critical hit, of course, ignores the Aurora Veil on Dakota side too, so it does significantly more damage.
Hydro Pump resisted, of course. That does nothing. Nothing. And we're talking about 80% chance, so that can whiff 20% of the time. So I really don't know what we're doing. 3 turns left for Snow. Of course, Arcaladon can't really go for the powerful lightning attack here. Nor do you want to. It's electric type.
I was going to say that, honestly, at this point, if Chase didn't have Dragon Pulse, Dragon Pulse is the correct play here. If Chase only had Draco Meteor as the same type attack bonus move,
there's the citrus.
This is a position where you can just click Electro Shot. This Rotom's not going to be able to KO you, very quickly at all.
Okay, Will-O-Wisp here for some chip. I think that's a great idea. That's a good starting point because you're just not going to be doing enough damage on your own. But again, that Dragon Pulse did so much damage, and you can only survive at most 2 of those. Maybe 3 with that HP. But can you get all those Hydro Pumps to hit? Okay, charging up?
Charging up here, and see, this is what I was saying. I didn't think this played entirely through whenever I suggested clicking Electroshot, because Rotom can just protect on this next turn, and you're just giving the Rotom a little bit of free damage here. The plus side is that you do still get the special attack boost if you're Chase.
Yes.
And so once this Aurora Veil is finally gone on Dakota's side here in a turn or two, you will be able to just clear out this Rotom with one final Dragon Pulse. And we have seen that the Archaladon is faster than Rotom, so you will be able to clear it eventually. Maybe as soon as this turn, if the Aurora Veil ends now, but I think we are still going to have a couple more turns of Veil.
Okay, this is your opportunity to go ahead and... Oh, there's the Veil. It's gone now. So it all comes down to, can you survive a +1 Dragon Pulse right now? And I gotta say, it's unlikely. Oh, survival. Okay, we got there. We got there. Hydro Pump is gonna go ahead and hit.
I was gonna say, Hydro Pump critical hit into like 3 protects to stall out with burn damage. What, it's 74 down to 63, so it did 11 damage, so you just need 6 protects in a row.
That's a small amount of numbers to get a W. You play to your outs.
You played your outs. Do you try to get the sextuple protect? I think it's pretty free.
Yeah. I mean, do what you can. Okay, Dragon Pulse, not going to hit here. Thank you, Protect.
That's the free one.
Okay.
That's
Second
the easy
one is basically 50%, and if we know Scald math, right, you always get burned from Scald because it's 50% too.
You always get
burned. So this Protect here has got it. It can't whiff. It can't whiff. It's free. It's basically free.
And see, and this is Chase, man of the people, knows that this terrestrialization does not matter here. Because as a dragon type or as a grass type, he resists the Rotom either way. Purely trying to make this game longer, add to the suspense and the double protect. I respect this play.
I respect this decision.
Can't even get the double.
Didn't get it.
So unfortunate.
So unfortunate. Well, at least this gave us a lot more time to think about game 2. I think players often forget that, hey, I need some time to think, breathe, and start up my strategy for the next turn. And if you're not going to go ahead and forfeit, I'm not either. We're going to stay in this game until I figure out what I want to do in the next round anyway. So that time was necessary for Dakota to start formulating a plan for this next game.
Yeah, and I think that plan for next game really revolves around trying to keep that HP on Garganacl.
Yes.
That is where Dakota, yes, he made a pretty fine trade on turn 1, but because he lost so much health on Garganacl and there's no leftovers, there's no passive recovery on that Pokemon, you really have to keep that. That is a precious resource that you have to have in this game. And it forced him to have to make some calls that he just didn't make later in that game. The prime example being the turn 2 after had Salt Curing Pelipper, switching the Garganacl out into the Ninetales to get rid of or switching the Garganacl out into the Rotom as a defensive piece, as opposed to trying to take the KO that's in front of you with Ninetales and just Salt Curing the Goldengo that came in. Once you lose the Garganacl, or even once Garganacl falls below about 50%, now Goldengo becomes a much bigger problem. You're not able to, at least with the 4 that Dakota brought, you're really not able to deal with Goldengo very well at all outside of Salt Curing that Pokemon.
I gotta say too, think that you misutilized that Terra too, because Gargano went for that ghost typing, and then it just didn't last long at all. So maybe in this next game we have to think about our Terra use and maybe get more out of that. Like I don't know what the ghost typing was gonna do for them there. Maybe to resist or take neutral damage from a water attack.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
The ghost translation is the only reason that Garganackle survived on that first turn anyway, because of the, it was the wave crash plus the ice type weather ball now, which was a fun little interaction with Pelipper using an ice move, but. I think yes. I like this turn a lot more because you still want to terastallize your Garganackle in this matchup if you're Dakota, but you can't be forced to do that turn 1 into this very aggressive lead, the Pelipper and the Basket Legion. Now you have your Dondozo, and this Dondozo is not going to care about any of the damage that these Pokemon are doing into it, because that's where the leftovers are on Dakota's team.
So now we have this really bulky, unaware Pokemon who's just oblivious to anything that's going around it, which is why we see the switch out.
Oblivious is the other ability. He's just unaware.
He's just unaware, yeah, that makes sense.
The flip turn immediately knocks Sneasler down to its Focus Sash. As expected, not a terribly bulky Pokemon is Sneasler. We are going to see, though, potentially all 4 Pokemon from Chase here on turn 1 in this game, unless Pelipper comes back out, but I don't think this is a position where you'd want to bring your Weather Setter back onto the field.
What I think happened just here was covering a switch out from Ninetales. We switched out the Pelipper, flip turn. Now I have the chance to go back into this Pelipper if you went with Ninetales here. But this coaching is about to be huge. Attack up, defense up. It's basically a bulk up. And now Yawn into the slot. That's tough. I don't like that at all if I'm playing as Chase.
Exactly, and that's the perfect slot to click Yawn into, because the Golden Go came in on the other side. So great forethought there. And now, if you're Dakota, you don't really care about bringing in your Ninetales to reset the weather, because now you have a +1 Dondozo with Liquidations in the rain. That's going to do a whole lot of damage to this Golden Go.
Egregious amount of damage. But it's going to protect for now, just playing it a little coy. And we're going to see what comes out from Sneasler. It's going to be that close combat. Ooh.
Wow. Not quite enough for the one-hit KO into the Archaludon.
Oh, that's still a decent amount, though.
Oh, but certainly more than I expected. Tells you maybe a little bit about how these Pokemon are trained, both the Sneasler and the Archaludon. Great cover there, though, from Dakota. Yes, your Sneasler feints. That's mostly fine. It's not putting on a ton of offensive pressure, especially into this Golden Go anyway.
Right.
But you now either get 180 damage onto this Archaludon, which is perfect, and the Archaludon after this Electroshot is going to go to sleep, or something else comes in and you either break the Pelipper's Sash or you force the Archaludon off the field, because of all the Pokemon on Chase's team, this Archaludon is the only one that Dondozo really doesn't want to be in front of.
Absolutely. And now, there it is, going to sleep. That +1 boost doesn't really mean much if you can't wake up.
Exactly.
So now we're going to be in a perfect position for this Garganacl to come on in and start pressing those Salt Cures.
Exactly. This is how you play this team if you're Dakota. Now you can bring the Garganacl in. Now the Archaludon is a useless slot at least this turn. It's either going to feint or just sit there and do nothing while the Golden Go is under immense pressure from both of these Pokemon on Dakota's side.
Absolutely.
He will now terastallize, likely going to be that Garganacl becoming a ghost because of the Purifying Salt ability. On top of being immune to all status conditions, you also have that ghost type resistance built in. So while you are a ghost type in front of Golden Go, those Shadow Balls are going to be doing neutral damage as Chase bravely in front of these two Pokemon goes for the Nasty Plot as Archaludon stays asleep. If this is just a double up into the Golden Go,
it's looking like that double up.
Wow.
Golden Go taking a massive chunk from Liquidation. And are those Stealth Rocks?
That's Stealth Rocks in VGC.
That's not real. That just happened. That's crazy.
That's one of 2 Stealth Rock Garganacles that was at this tournament here today.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's with this type of team, because you have your Dondozo clicking Yawn, forcing a lot of switches for Pokemon to move in and out of the game. You can set Stealth Rocks. Now, the next time that the Pelipper comes into the game, it's going to lose its Focus Sash.
That's so good.
If Archaludon ever wants to switch out, it's going to feint upon switch in because of the Stealth Rocks. It's going to stay asleep here, though. And Now a liquidation going into the Archelodon, and now this time has to be where you click Salt Cure, right?
This has to be the
Unless
Salt
it's a
Cure.
recover.
Oh,
Yes!
yeah, that's even worse. Oh, my goodness. Going back to the full HP, making sure I'm in the tippest of the toppest shape here. And now you're looking at an underwear +1 defensive Don Dozo. And, of course, this behemoth of a castle.
Yeah, the Golden Go, importantly, just barely survives that last turn after Life Orb recoil, so you're still able to get one more attack off. But we saw how little damage it did to the Dondozo.
Oh, yeah.
And that was at +2 special attack in the Garganackle.
Yeah.
Now you're going to just be at +1. You do have your Basket Legion putting on a ton of offensive pressure this turn. That's great. But if you are Dakota and you do have Ninetales in the back, this might be the turn to switch that Pokemon in. Instead, it is just the Protect on Garganackle.
Excellent Protect here because we did just see a last respects being played into that slot. That was a little scary just now, but it's okay. We're still kicking. And now Make It Rain coming into play, not doing any damage to this Garganacle, and probably very negligible damage to this Don Bozo, bro.
Yeah, it does the same amount of damage as it did last time, but
Yeah.
the Golden Go is going to feint to Life Orb recoil, and now Dondozo, a free liquidation or a yawn here into the Basket Legion. Beautifully, beautifully played. Dakota now turning this into a 3v2 in his favor, and those Stealth Rocks, whenever the Pelipper comes back in, not going to have its Focus Sash anymore.
It's just not a very good situation here for Chase. And Dakota, just those adjustments coming into this game too were just chef's kiss, spot on, exactly what they needed to do and executed with extreme and prejudiced precision.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just so impressive seeing the way that Dakota was able to manage this game after, bringing most of the same pieces to that first game, but just, falling behind so early because Garganackle was led. Now he has Garganackle in the back here in this game, able to preserve it a little bit more, keeps Ninetales until the very last moment. Great, great play there for Dakota to reset the weather only whenever he's absolutely sure, and to keep the Ninetales in the back while the two Steel types just go up and fall to this Dondozo and the Archelodon, or the Dondozo and the Garganackle. We are going to see the Terra Stellar.
Last respects going into Ninetales, going to do a large amount of damage. Weather Ball doubling up into Ninetales or Dondozo? Yeah, Ninetales it is.
We're going to Ninetales. A cool interaction here. The Terra Stellar still boosting the Ice-type Weather Ball.
True.
So it will pick up the knockout on Ninetales. I would think potentially without the Terra Stellar boost, maybe that doesn't pick up the knockout on Ninetales.
Ooh, okay, hold on. We will have a sleepy dragonfish-looking thing on the second here, but the possibilities of waking up is not completely out of this realm. And you know what? Pelipper does hit pretty hard. Maybe we still got a game here.
Potentially. The issue, of course, though, is that because the snow is up, because snow is up, the weather balls from Pelipper are going to be not boosted by the same type attack bonus. You've already used the Terra Stellar boost. You like Chase just did, you really have to lock into Hurricane and just hope for the best here.
Oh.
He is able to hit. He's going to get the Terra Stellar boost on this. It should do a very large amount of damage to this Garganackle.
Not bad.
No confusion, though. That's what you needed, was the confusion here, because now Assault Cure should go into this Basket Legion. Because of the defense drop from Liquidation last turn, that's doing a lot of damage.
Oh, and then we're going to take a little bit of chip at the end of the turn here.
And at the very end of the turn, you'll take a little bit. You'll take, not just a little bit, you'll take 25%.
Oh, yes, that's a huge number.
Of your
that's
HP.
Not a little. Oh,
Not going to knock out Basket Legion this turn, but my favorite play in all of Pokemon, protecting both, right here for Dakota. All you need to do.
We just vibe, we just vibe, and maybe that's all it is, bro.
I love mid-game double protects. My favorite thing in VGC. Lets you make progress in the game.
No!
Basket Legion wakes up just to crash into a wall. Pelipper is going to whiff on another Hurricane, fall asleep at the end of this turn. Basket Legion is going right back to the briny deep.
Right whence it came.
And give it 5-6 more minutes, we will be seeing a game 3 here.
Maybe,
Trust me on this one, we will be seeing a game 3.
Okay, so maybe this is Chase's opportunity to stall out the game a little bit
Yes.
while he comes back with a new plan.
Exactly, because from Chase's side, there's really not a lot more you could have done with the 4 Pokemon that you brought outside of making some very hard reads.
Yes.
Just because of how strong the Dondozo and the Terra Ghost Garganacl are,
Yeah.
how difficult they are to break. One Pokemon I'm very interested to see on Chase's side, and I would love to see as an adaptation here in Game 3, is this Amoonguss.
Yes, Amoonguss is huge. That Spore, it just works wonders
they're-
all the time.
There really is not great counterplay to Spore on Dakota's side outside of the Purifying Salt Garganacl.
Yes.
The Dondozo is leftovers in Terra Bug, no way to get around Rage Powder or Spore. The Ninetales is Light Clay with Terra Ghost, so yes, it can hit the Amoonguss, super effectively with Ice-type moves, but the Amoonguss is Terra Water, and the Terastallization on Chase's side hasn't been terribly impactful in either of the first 2 games. You can afford to have your Amoonguss be the Pokemon that you Terastallize just to get a Spore off onto this Ninetales or onto this Rotom Wash. There are a lot of things that Amoonguss can do just to try to control the board state a little bit better.
I mean, Amoonguss is a 3-time world-winning champion for a
Success.
reason. It's one of the best Pokemon in the game. People complain about Incineroar, but Amoonguss, bro.
Amoonguss is the problem.
But Amoonguss is a very big problem.
Amoonguss is
and
the problem.
you don't have a whole lot, as we just went over, on your team to deal with such a menace. And that can pay dividends for you or against you in this matter.
Yeah, the very tricky thing is who do you drop for that?
Yeah.
Because the Pelipper is always going to have to come to this game. You need to rein up, really just bar none, if you're
Yeah.
Chase. The Archelodon and the Basculegion, you could potentially drop one of those 2 Pokemon. Yeah, I think it just gets very tough. I think if anything, you drop either Basculegion or Golden Go.
It has to be one of those two. Like, the
Yeah.
Arcaludon just does too much for you to lose that.
The
I
Archelodon's
think-
far too important for super
Yeah.
effective damage into the Dondozo.
And it's Dondozo, dude. Like, yeah, I think Basculegion is the one I would personally choose to come out because, of course, Goldango is very important for Naked Rain, of course, and those really powerful Shadow Balls, which are all hitting on the special side, which is very specifically important because Dondozo is boosting up the defense, not its special defense.
Exactly.
So
You have a lot of very strong defensive Pokemon. You have the Dondozo, naturally much higher defense. The Garganacl, naturally much higher defense. The Sneasler is going to be coaching to boost the defenses of any
Yes,
Pokemon next to
yes.
it. The Alolan Ninetales gets the defense boost in the snow.
Yes.
You don't have a lot of ways to mitigate special damage on Dakota's side.
Well, Auroraville is pretty good.
It's just
But
Aurora
it's just
Veil.
Auroraville. That's
if-
the point.
And if Dakota needs to bring Ninetales for Auroraville, you want to bring both of your steel types to deal with that Pokemon.
Absolutely, and here they come. It looks like Basculegion is making its way back onto the board. It's going to be ambitious for sure, but we're going to see what we can do with this. Last turn, we saw a raw switch out from the Pelipper, and then we saw a flip turn, and I'm wondering if that's what we're going to do again in this round. I didn't quite dislike that play because it makes it where you can pivot in and out on a Ninetales, but now we're dealing with this mind game. Is Ninetales coming in raw this time? Is that going to happen? Is that what we want to be going for? It looks like we're going to be making a very similar play. It looks like the flip turn is going to come into that Sneasler instead. Okay, this time we sent into Arcaludon, which means we can switch into the Goldango in this slot now. We threatened a Goldango switch in.
Oh, their Chaldon gets the fake
Boost
out.
from the oh!
They catches the fake out into the Pelipper slot. That's a great
That's
turn
a great
for Chase.
turn. That's actually really good. I like that. This is already completely different.
Yeah, that's already a much bigger turn for Chase. Of course, for Dakota, it's very risky to try to Dire Claw into either slot because
Yes.
you know likely the steel types are in the back, especially into the Basculegion because it is just faster and can flip turn you.
Okay.
Dondozo's going to yawn, but the yawn goes again into the Basculegion slot.
Oh, there it is.
Chase with the adaptation, bringing Golden Go out there.
There it
and
is.
now it's very, very similar to that first turn from Game 2, but because no yawn, no real damage
Yep.
taken, if anything,
Yep.
you get the defense boost on the Archaludon. Chase, much, much better position here. You have your 2 special attackers in front of this Dondozo and a Sneasler that's just living on its Focus Sash.
Now, Sneasler not going to be able to do much against these steel types with a Dire Claw or anything of the sort. Could probably go for a close combat on Arcaludon, but I'm not sure if that's what they locked in or decided that was the best thing
Yeah.
to go for right now.
And because the Archaludon switched into the fake out on turn 1, on
That
close combat
boost.
into that slot,
Ooh,
it's going to do
bro.
a whole lot less damage now that with the defense boost.
Okay, let's see what we went for. Protect on the Dondozo. I like it being safe. You don't have to really rush with that Pokemon right now. Going for the coaching, it can't be protected. So you will still get the attack and the defensive boost, which means we are resigning to the fact that we might have lost our Pokemon in Sneasler right now, but that means we get a free switch in that slot. It's an excellent play from Dakota here because you did want to use that free switch in, but you didn't make it useless with Sneasler, right? We got that +1 attack, we got that +1 defense. Maybe now we bring in Ninetales, set up in Auroraville, and start going for some swings with this Dondozo.
Okay, yes, I think that's the difference, right, for Dakotas. Now you have gotten the terrestrialization onto this Archaludon. It is the pure grass type. It's going to be weak now to your Alolan Ninetales with its ice type moves. You would have loved to have your Sneasler still around if you were Dakota to click Dire Claw into that slot.
But
the question now is, how much damage can you do with this Ninetales? You are still staring down this Golden Go that's going to hit you 4 times super effectively with its steel moves. There's Archaludon that can hit you 4 times super effectively with its steel move. You know, there's still a lot of danger bringing your Ninetales immediately into 2 Pokemon who are in their normal form steel types.
And of course, Make It Rain hitting both. I mean, it's not going to do much to Dondozo, but at this point, we want to start chipping away at that HP as best as possible. But this will be a switch out. Pelipper coming back in, just disregarding that snow. No Auroraville for you. Do not set that up. Do not pass go. Freeze Dry predicting that switch, though, putting you down to a sash. I believe maybe an attack coming from Donbozo into that Pelipper might be able to clear it out. There's the Make It Rain.
Yeah, -1 Make It Rain still enough. With that Life Orb for Chase's Golden Go to knock out Ninetales, and this is the big difference between those first 2 games. Now that the Ninetales is gone, Rain is up. Period.
Period. This is it. This is the rest of the game. But Yawn coming into play here, putting Pelipper to Night-Night. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but that's one Pokemon slot you don't kind of have to worry about. It forces a switch. Is that what you need? What attack do you want to point into that slot that the switch is being forced here for?
Okay, no, I understand that. I think I understand that at least. You do double up into that slot, knowing that Freeze Dry likely is not going to knock out the Terra Grass Archaludon. It will bring Pelipper down to Focus Sash. It probably will not one-hit KO the Basculegion. So you do at least have the Yawn to cover for that slot. You potentially force a switch out there. Because now, at the very least, this Golden Go is stuck on the field at -2. Now, yes, you can and should switch your Golden Go out here if you're Chase.
Yes.
Absolutely, you need to reset these drops so that you have some damage into this Garganackle.
Yes.
But if Golden Go doesn't switch out, Garganackle pretty telegraphed is going to go Terra Ghost here. And will likely just be clicking Salt Cure into the Golden Go.
Sure.
Any residual damage you can get into Gold. Honestly, if Golden Go stays in this turn, Salt Cure plus Liquidation into that slot will just KO. And because the Golden Goes at -2 special attack, it's not doing any damage really to Garganackle.
True.
Pelipper, of its own volition, can stay in this turn, but it's going to go to sleep at the end of this for its troubles. And now we do see the Liquidation of the Golden Go. That's just enough to pick up the KO straight away. And for Dakota, if you can click Recover here. No, Stealth, even better.
Stealth Rocks. Okay, I like that. I like this
better.
decision.
The important thing is that you do not want to KO this Pelipper if you're Dakota.
No, you do not. You want that thing in play. You switch it out if you want to get rid of it.
Exactly.
You deal with that. I am chilling right where I am, and now that it's about to go to sleep, it's not a threat. It's a 2v1 situation that we like to see when you're playing this team.
Exactly. And now Dakota has pretty clear counterplay to either one of the Rain Sweepers that can come in here. Important things, too. The Pelipper cannot switch out. If it switches out, if it comes back in, it will just faint on Stealth Rocks. Rain will not be set up.
Nope.
It will faint to Stealth Rock before the ability activates. So we now have a set number of turns of Rain left. And with the Archaludon coming in now, no longer resists Rock.
Correct.
So it's taking a little bit more damage from that Stealth Rock. And now you can just protect on Dozo pretty safely here and Salt Cure into that Archaludon just to start getting that damage racked up.
Yes, this is a very, very precarious situation here for Chase. Gonna play out of this? You have to be out of your rocker, man.
Chase, should still be favored here. Chase is still in a pretty commanding position, but Dakota does at least have a way out of this now because he was able to get rid of that Golden Go.
Okay, here comes the Electro Shot. Gonna get that special attack boost. Dondozo doesn't care about that, so it's not gonna be really doing that much more damage than normal. Salt Cure into that Argalodon. It's going to do a decent chunk here. And then, of course, it is now Salt Cured, so it's going to be taking extra damage. Defensive boost could be viable here for that Dondozo, which is trying to use physical attacks as well. So that could be another good thing here working for Chase.
If the Dondozo weren't unaware.
True.
It ignores the boosts anyway. It ignores the...
Oh, that's right.
All of the boosts.
All the boosts.
Positive and negative.
Oh, my gosh. That's
the
so
thing
good.
is, even if, because this should still knock out Dondozo. There was never an Aurora Veil set up on Dakota's side.
No.
So this should still KO. You know, yes, it's essentially at neutral.
Yes,
but that's still a super effective move into the Dondozo. It's on its much weaker defensive side, or the special defensive side rather. But Garganackle, because there are only a set number of turns of rain left in this game, Garganackle may still be able to win this. I don't love that decision.
It's a win, yeah.
Yeah, I think you just need to leave Pelipper alone forever. I think because rain will end, it should end in, I think, 2 turns from here. And once rain ends, Pelipper's useless. Its best opportunity into you is to hit a 70% accurate Hurricane, and that's fine. 1 turn of rain. So yes. And because Pelipper stayed asleep that turn anyway, you were pretty fine.
Yeah, I mean, there is the risk that it woke up and then went for a Hurricane, and it does hurt Garganackle a lot. But are you really going to be taking 2 shots from these behemoths on the other side of the field?
Yeah,
I don't know.
For Dakota, at the very least, you are able to protect this turn.
True.
You are going to, stall out the last turn of rain. The problem is this Archaludon. You just have to, for Dakota's side, you can somewhat deal with the Archaludon. You can deal with the Basculegion outside of rain for sure with Garganackle. But because this bridge gets another special attack boost, even if you protect in front of its Electroshot, it's just too much.
Who made this move?
I don't know who made this move. I don't know what they were thinking when they made this move. But hold on now. We can do this math again. 91 down to 68. That's 23 damage.
Approximately, yeah.
So you just need 3 more protects with Garganackle in a row.
That's it.
That's it.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, you needed 6 last game. Now you just need 4.
That's half of the problem.
That's half of it, yeah.
Come on now. Okay, there's the...
Oh, my goodness.
My goodness.
That still does so much damage.
Oh, my goodness.
It's essentially neutral into the Garganackle because of the Purifying Salt plus the Terra Ghost. I guess it is still a Choice Band Basculegion, clicking a move that's essentially... What is it? Is it 150 base power?
About, yes.
Yeah, it's still just a very, very strong move.
Dang.
So Chase was able still to finally, win that game. It
was a game. It was a match. It was some grind.
It was certainly a game.
It was certainly a game. For sure.
A
A game of all time, man. Absolutely. But yes, it was well played. Dakota coming up short in this one. Good job to Chase. And we're going to be moving right on to the grand finals. It should be up shortly. We're going to take a short break. I do believe we're changing casters, so Linty.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Got on camera
We'll be right back. Yeah, that was nice.